Hi guys, today we're going to show you the best way to install plasterboard in a bathroom, down to the floor, down to the shower tray. Preparation is absolutely everything when it comes to micro cement. The most important thing with it is make sure that you've eliminated any movement and your surfaces are completely flat. Make sure your shower tray is well glued and screwed in place and there's no movement in that shower tray or surrounding floor. I'm going to put a bead of adhesive sealant along the edge of the plasterboard and on the shower tray edge, so when I squash my board down to that, it's going to create a seal and it's going to ooze out at the end. Leave the adhesive, don't try and smudge it all over the board, because the following day you're going to come in when it's dried and razor scrape the excess off. Make sure your plasterboard is well glued and screwed in place to eliminate any movement. Countersink the screw holes. Boards need to be nice and level with one another so there's no lips. If you don't do that, your micro cement is so thin that it will just highlight any of those imperfections and those ridges. It will come through your top coat and you can see all your boards then. Any gaps need to be avoided. It's not the same as using plasterboards in normal circumstances where you might have a gap and the skirting board's going to cover that gap. This is a wet room scenario, so they need to be right to the floor and sealed prior to micro cementing. So we've come in and the plasterboards are all well glued and screwed. The adhesive has dried, so we're going to get the razor scraper now and clean off any of that excess. So yeah, if you've got tapered edge plasterboards, we're going to use scrim tape and we're going to use a filling compound to flush that out. If they're square edge boards, we're just going to use a filling compound just to flush them. You can use the micro cement base coat to fill out any little gaps, but anything bigger we tend to use a filling compound, because micro cement base, it can slump a little bit and drag because it's not designed to be put on thick. Whichever filler you use, make sure it's completely dried prior to priming and doing your base coats, because you'll just trap moisture in. Take your time to sand it back as flat as you can. You don't want any imperfections in this at this point, because it will just show through to your micro cement. And that's it guys. You've eliminated the movement, you've got your surfaces nice and flat, and now you're ready to put the primer on and start meshing.